And we're back getting ready for the boys' 1,600-meter run here from Elk Grove. It's the CIF Sac Joaquin Section Masters Finals here on this Memorial Day weekend at Elk Grove Laguna Creek Community Stadium. I'm Jared Hicks alongside Jason Patterson as we are getting ready for the boys' 1,600-meter. Let's run down some of the participants in this 1,600-meter. At hip 1, it's Trent Brendel. Hip 2, it's Garrett Migliosi out of Nevada Union. Brendel is out of Granite Bay. John Harvath is hip 3, the senior out of Wood Creek. George Miao, out of Rockland. He is a junior. He's wearing hip 4 as they are off and getting ready to run. Daniel Gal, the second-ranked runner in the section, is out of Bella Vista. Jack Plogue, out of Elk Grove. Jacob Zufeld is hip 7. As the boys are through about 150 meters of this 1,600-meter run. Patrick Jagerson out of Del Campo is hip 8. Jack Scranton out of Davis, hip 9, and Brian, if I could get it out, Brian Sargent out of Bella Vista is hip 10. The runners through about 300 meters as they're coming down this first straightaway, or their second straightaway, I should say, and getting ready to complete their first lap. In the front of the pack so far is John Horvath out of Wood Creek. He's the 5th-ranked runner in the section.
Looks like it was Trent Brendel in second place, too, so he's your first-ranked section leader right now, and he's sitting there nicely in second place through the first 400 meters, pretty much right where you want to be. You don't want to break too early on this 16-meter run or 1,600-meter run, so looking nice is Trent Brendel so far.
Yeah, so through about 500 meters, we have Horvath out in front, Brendel not too far behind. That's the one you want to keep an eye on, the number 1 ranked runner in the section, as Jason mentioned. To get to some of the rest of the runners, Jasper Laka is hip 11 out of Davis. Noah Heath, hip 12 out of Modesto, as they are coming down the stretch to get to about 700 meters, and in about another 10 seconds or so, they will be through this first lap, or this second lap, I should say, halfway through this 1,600-meter run, as it's still Horvath in first place, as he is leading the pack and setting the pace as we are now halfway through this 1,600-meter run.
Yeah, your top 4 runners right now, John Horvath, Trent Brendel, Jacob Zufeld, and Jack Scranton. So those are your 1, 2, 3, 4 as it's halfway through this thing.
And all those runners, of course, senior runners, the leading the pack, so a lot of experience out here for these runners, as it still appears to be that Horvath in the mix, but it looks like Trent Brendel is coming to the front of the pack and not too far behind. So the lead pack starting to separate itself as we get to about 1,100 meters, as the runners now coming down the straightaway, getting ready to complete their third lap. It's Jack Scranton out of Davis in the lead, and Philip Herrera out of Manteca, the senior, that is not too far behind him. Herrera, has passed him as we are on the final lap now, Jason, and there's about 300 meters to go in this 1,600-meter run.
Yeah, there's already been a few lead changes with that lead pack right there as they are fighting neck to neck. It's getting interesting coming around here, about to hit the last turn.
So Scranton, Herrera, here comes Trent Brendel coming up now, making this late surge. As you mentioned earlier, Jason, he was pacing himself, and now he has a ton of energy to burn, and he is doing just that these last 200 meters.
Yeah, he found his rocket fuel for breakfast, and he has turned it on there at the end.
Trent Brendel has turned on the jet packs as we have 50 meters to go, and Trent Brendel is going to run away with this one and win the 1,600-meter run, boys 1,600-meter run, and leave a trail of dust behind. What a finish, those last 200, 250 meters by Trent Brendel out of Granite Bay, the number one runner this season in the section. Fastest time this year in the section, 4:13.94, beating his previous best of 4:14.37. That was a divisional time in the SFL. Wow. So Jacob Sufelt out of Whitney finished second with a time of 4:15.79, and Garrett Migliosi out of Nevada Union at 4:15.80 finished in third place. Fourth place, Jack Scranton, who was leading for a good portion of this run, finished with a time of 4:15.94, and he qualifies for the state boys 1,600-meter run with an at-large time that we just mentioned. So congratulations to those four gentlemen for all making it to the state final.
That was one heck of a race. Trent Brendel coming in as your favorite. So far, a couple of the favorites in both boys and girls have been able to take it. He was sitting there pacing himself, sitting in that top three throughout the whole thing. He hit that last about 200, I'd say 150 meters, and just turned on the jets and started putting himself out in front, and he ended up taking that one by a nice, good margin. Hats off to him. A great run.
And I'll say this, too, because I know you mentioned it earlier. He was in second, third place. He kept himself in that lead pack, but didn't exert himself too much. But, boy, Jason, when he got to about 250 meters or 200 meters, did he turn on the jet packs or what?
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. He turned on something, and he had smoke coming off his feet as he turned on that last little corner there.
So congratulations to Trent Brendel, the senior out of Granite Bay, beating his own time for a section, for the best time in the section this season. The number one runner in the section comes away on top, as it was Brendel, Zufelt, Migliosi, and Scranton coming in fourth but qualifying for the state final in the boys' 1,600-meter run. The hurdles getting set up, and we will come back in just a moment with the girls' 100-meter